What is up, everybody? Today we're going to be discussing the Utah Jazz and if I personally think they can win the NBA Western Conference. When I say win the Western Conference, I don't mean getting the one seed. No. I mean, winning the Western Conference Finals, making it to the whole NBA Finals. So let's get right into it. First off, subscribe to the channel. I post daily sports videos about the NBA, college football, college basketball. It'd be cool if you did that. Like the video, all that cool stuff. Comment down below. I want to hear from y'all, believe it or not. Let's get into it. So the Utah Jazz, NBA's best record as of, the freaking 18th of February. However, I'm seeing little to no hype about them, right? There's lots of doubt around them. And, there's some reasons for this. Some good, some eh. So we're just going to be discussing all of that, discussing the team as a whole, and if I think they can take down the top team, the quote, repeating champions, I guess, the Lakers. Or repeating champions is probably the wrong term, but you all get what I'm trying to say. So the Utah Jazz, well, they have the best paint defender in the game in Rudy Gobert. I will give him that. I'm not a huge Rudy Gobert fan, but they do have an amazing paint defender in him. Donovan Mitchell, he is a superstar. I will admit it. Relatively untested in the playoffs in terms of, finals experience. I know he balled out against Jamal Murray. But in terms of, just making the deep runs, they are relatively untested in terms of that. Joe Ingles, amazing defender. Bogdanovich, also an amazing defender. Royce O'Neal is apparently the second coming of Michael Jordan to y'all, which I did not know. So thank you for informing me of that in the comments. So, can the team beat the Lakers? I think potentially, but they need to make some changes. Okay? Now, Anthony Davis is always injured, it seems like. But it seems like every time during the playoffs, he's totally healthy. So they will have to game plan for Anthony Davis. Which is an issue because with Rudy Gobert, I don't want Rudy Gobert, out on the perimeter, right? I want him in the paint where he can cut off guys that are trying to drive into the paint. Because Donovan Mitchell, while he is good at defense, he is not, a Drew Holiday, Jimmy Butler type that can, make life extremely difficult, lock up, players, right? He's good on defense, but he's not elite yet, okay? And that's why Rudy Gobert is so critical to this Jazz team, because you can just put him in the paint and just shut down that area, pretty much. The only issue is the Lakers have two shooting centers in Marc Gasol and Anthony Davis, right? So you can't really leave Rudy Gobert in the paint because then you're going to be leaving Anthony Davis or Marc Gasol open from three. Now, granted, it's not like those dudes are Steph Curry or anything, but you will pay if you leave them open, probably like 35% of the time, 36% of the time. Just a rough estimate there. So perimeter defense is the issue for the Jazz, in my opinion. And now, how do they fix this is the issue, right? They need faster guys that can cover centers, right? Okay? Well, just imagine for a couple seconds, you can't put a guy that's like, you can't put Royce O'Neal on Anthony Davis, right? Royce O'Neal is 6'4". Anthony Davis is what, 7 feet tall? Right? Royce O'Neal is not going to be able to just block his jump shot, right? That's why Jokic is so unstoppable in this league. Along with his passing ability, it's very difficult to block a 7-footer with a 3-point shot, unless you also happen to be 7 feet tall. So what is the moral of this story? Basically, it's that they need to somehow figure out a way to not upgrade a power forward, but bring more versatility into a lineup, if you get what I'm saying. Right? Because Royce O'Neal, good at perimeter defense, right? But it's very difficult to defend someone from the perimeter, as mentioned before, who is 7 feet tall when you are 6'4", right? So they need to try and figure out a way that they can bring in a taller dude that is not as reliant upon paint, quote, defense, right? Now, they don't really have a true, quote, backup center, I guess. I view Derek Favors as more of a power forward that can play the center position. And while it wouldn't be the worst case scenario to put him on Anthony Davis, it would still not be, ideal, obviously. Right? So, I've brought up PJ Tucker a little bit before. I feel like it would just help out a lot more. He's 4 inches taller than Royce O'Neal, right? And even the okay, so beforehand when I talked about PJ Tucker, I talked about him as replacing Royce O'Neal, right? So now I'm going to talk about bringing him in a Andre Iguodala role almost, right? Someone that's been there before, someone that knows what they're doing, a good defender, someone like that, right? I think Royce O'Neal could help out a ton. I mean, not Royce O'Neal, freaking PJ Tucker could help out a ton, seeing as how there's really no one else open on the market. Victor Oladipo isn't going to solve anything. The Rockets aren't going to give up Christian Wood. There is another guy that we can talk about for just a tad bit, however. I don't think this actually happens because it's not really advisable. But Blake Griffin is available for buyout right now. Well, not available for buyout, available for trade with the potential for a buyout. So he's 6'9", right? So he will do a better job defending the perimeter, right? But the issue with Blake Griffin is he's not very good at basketball, to be quite honest. I mean, he's always injured. I feel bad for the dude. But it's just not realistic, I guess, to an extent. I don't see him and Rudy Gobert matching up well. If you could talk him into coming off the bench somehow in some sort of role like that, then maybe. But honestly, this is a solution that doesn't have a super easy fix, right? Like, I can sit here for 5 or 10 minutes and try and come up with a decent solution. But I can't do that, right? It's up to the GM ultimately at the end of the day to fix this. And with good game planning, they could honestly, reduce the impact of Anthony Davis to an extent. But it's going to be tricky for the Jazz. So do I think they can win the West? I think they can win the West. I think they'll need a trade as of right now. And in addition to that trade, I think they will need an amazing game plan, right? Quinn Snyder is going to have to come up with, the game plan of his life if he wants to beat the Lakers in the finals. And that's assuming they make it to the finals. They might not make it to the finals. Freaking Western Conference Finals, my bad, y'all. But yeah, if they do, we'll see what happens. So I think they have the potential to. I still think the Lakers should obviously be considered the favorites for, obvious reasons. But yeah. So as mentioned before, subscribe to the channel. I post daily sports videos, and it'd be a cool thing for y'all to do. Like the video if just enjoyed this particular video. Tell your friends about me. Have an amazing day, and I love y'all. Peace.